Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the next part of the anatomy of cockroach. In the last video we have seen the first first physiological system we have discussed, that was the digestive system. In this video we are going to start with the circulatory system. So let's just start with the circulation. Already I have drawn the diagram. One is the view like this and another is the lateral view. From the top, if you see this organism, then the organism is going to have this type of circulatory system. And on the lateral view, if you want to see, it just look like this. Now, if it comes to the circulation, then this organism have open circulation. Open circulation means this organism don't have the blood vessels. The blood that is present only in the open spaces. And just remember one point, that the blood, if it is present in the open space, that open space is called as the sinus. Okay, so they are going to have the sinuses. Broadly, the sinuses can be divided into three basic spaces. So this is the first space, this is the second space, and this is the third space. What is that space called? This is known as the pericardial sinus. This is known as the perivisceral sinus, and this is known as the perineural sinus. Okay, so these three sinuses the cockroach have. The sinuses means the open space where the blood is freely flowing, and the organs, they are directly bathed by the blood, right? Now to see if it comes to their circulatory system, remember that in them the color of the blood is white. Okay, so the blood color is white. What is the reason? That this organism don't have any type of respiratory pigment. Like in the earthworm, they had the respiratory pigment hemoglobin, and because of that the organism had the red colored blood. But in this case, this organism don't have this hemoglobin, and because of that the color of blood is also white or colorless. Now if it comes to their function, that what circulatory system perform or functions, then it is only for the transport of the nutrients. That means only the digested food materials that will be transported to different parts of the body, that will be with the help of this circulatory system. But if it comes to their oxygen transporting capacity, they don't have, due to the lack of this hemoglobin. So remember that this circulatory system only transport nutrients. Okay, only transport nutrients, not the gases, due to the absence of this respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin. This is going to be a very much important point. As compared to the earthworm, the circulatory system in case of this cockroach, that is very much underdeveloped. And if you see the another system, that is respiration is underdeveloped in earthworm, but respiratory system is, comparing to earthworm, it's very much developed. Okay, so that is called as the tracheary system. We will discuss it later. So here just remember that the circulation will help only in the transport of the nutrients. Now if you see that what their system comprise of, if you see this organism, they are going to have 13 chambered heart. Okay, pear-shaped structure are there and 13 chambers of heart present. So remember that how many hearts are present? 13 chambered heart. Okay, so remember that this is one very important thing. Next one, the heart, towards the dorsal side, they are going to have one aorta, that is called as the dorsal aorta, who will help in the transport of the nutrients to the head region. Okay, so to the head sinus, this dorsal aorta will transport the blood. Now to the adjacent chambers of the heart, they are going to have one type of muscle, that is known as the LAD muscle. That LAD muscle will help in the contraction and the relaxation. Remember that contraction is also known as, contraction is called as systole, okay, and relaxation is known as diastole. Okay, so this thing we will discuss in the body fluid and circulation chapter, but as we have not discussed till now, so that's why I've given the term. So contraction is called as systole and relaxation, this is known as the diastole, right? Now, whenever contraction occurs, this Eleri muscle will contract and pump the blood from this posterior region to the anterior-most region. That means the blood will flow inside the heart from this part to this part, posterior to the anterior. Okay. Already on the lateral sides, I have told you that they are going to have how many sinuses on this region, thorax and abdomen region. That is the pericardial sinus, perivisceral sinus and the perineural sinus. And this one, this is the head sinus. Okay. So their circulatory system is comprised of, first, that is the 13-chambered heart, next one dorsal aorta, next one Eleri muscle, then the blood where it flow, that will flow in the sinus. Sinus is also known as the hemocoel. So they are going to have the coelom. In the coelom only the blood is flowing. So that coelom where the blood is present, that is called as hemocoel. Next one, they have the heart, dorsal aorta and all. So this is about the circulatory system. Now, if it comes to the pumping, how the blood will be pumped, that is the very important point you need to know, that to enter and exit the blood from their heart to the different parts of the body, they are going to have one opening that is called as ostia. Ostia are just like some small holes. That holes will help the blood to flow, enter inside the heart, and whenever they have to pump, then the ostia closes. Okay. Now, what happens, see, during systole what happens and during relaxation what happens. Okay. So first of all, let us see the systole. Okay. So whenever systole occurs, what happens? This ostia, that ostia closes. Okay, remember, ostia closes. That means before closing of the ostia, the blood is already present in the chambers of the heart. Next one, the Eleri muscle, that will contract. Okay, Eleri muscle will contract. Whenever the Eleri muscle will contract, then what will happen? The blood move from posterior region to the anterior region. Next one, it will take a turn around the head sinus. Then it will go to this part, that is the perineural sinus, and they will start to move towards the perivisceral sinus. So this way, whenever the heart undergo the systole, then what happens? Ostia closes. The blood that will be pumped from the posterior region to the anterior region with the help of the contraction of Eleri muscle. Now they will transport the blood to this region. Now how the relaxation will occur? See, in the sinuses, you can see the sinuses, they are separated by two membranes, right? What those membranes called is, this one, this is known as the dorsal diaphragm, and this one, this is known as the ventral diaphragm. Okay. Now, whenever contraction, that means the systole has to occur, then what happens? This dorsal diaphragm that elevates. Okay, so remember that is the dorsal diaphragm elevates. Okay, so whenever the dorsal diaphragm elevates, then what happens? In the pericardial sinus, what happened? The volume decreases, right? So as the volume decreases, what will happen to the pressure? Pressure increases. Yes. So whenever the dorsal diaphragm elevates like this, suppose it is elevating like this, okay, then what will happen? The dorsal diaphragm will elevate, that will cause in the decrease in the volume. Earlier this much was the space for the pericardial sinus, now it is decreased to this much, right? So that's why the dorsal diaphragm that will elevate cause the decrease in the volume, and that's why the pressure that will increase. At the same time, ostia closes, the blood present inside the blood present inside the heart, that will be pumped from this posterior region to the anterior region, takes a turn around the head sinus, and it will go to the perineural sinus, and some amount of blood will move also to the perivisceral sinus. So this way what happens, systole is completed. After that, diastole, how it will occur? See, whenever diastole, okay, so this is diastole, whenever diastole has to occur, what will happen? See, this dorsal diaphragm, that will go and flatten, okay. So here you just see dorsal diaphragm that become flat and volume increases and pressure decreases. See, volume has been increased now, this much is the volume, right? So as the volume is increased, the pressure will decrease. Whenever pressure is decreased, what will happen? The ostia closes, right? So here you just see ostia, that will be here, in this case the ostia will be opened, okay. So whenever the ostia open, then what will happen? The blood that is present in the in this area, in this region, okay, what is that? That is the perivisceral sinus. So blood from the perivisceral sinus, it will move to this pericardial sinus, and from the pericardial sinus, as ostia are already open, so blood will move to the heart, okay. So ostia are opened, the blood move to the heart, inside the heart, okay. So during relaxation, what happened? And yes, also the relaxation will be also due to the relaxation of the LAD muscles. So LAD muscles will relax, the volume of the heart will also increase. So that's why, to maintain in equilibrium, the blood from this pericardial sinus, which will enter inside the heart, and this way relaxation occurs. And whenever once again they are going to have a contraction, then what happens? Readily this dorsal diaphragm will elevate, and whenever the dorsal diaphragm will elevate, ostia closes, blood is now stuck inside the heart. The blood, due to the contraction of the LAD muscle, will pump from this posterior region to the anterior region, take a turn around this to the head, and from the head it will go to the perineural sinus. From the perineural sinus it will go also to the next part, that is the perivisceral sinus. So this way they are going to have the generation, how actually systole and diastole occurs. This much will not be needed, just you can see this part, okay. So this way we are going to have the circulation. Remember, they are going to have this blood, and this blood is consist of two types of cell. One is known as the hemocyte, and second one is known as the phagocyte, right? So what is the function of the hemocyte? This hemocyte will help in the transport of the nutrients. They take the nutrients and transport it to the whole part of the body. What is happening to the phagocyte? Phagocyte is just like the WBC. They have immunological function. Our WBC, they kill the foreign particle, they kill the germs. Same function, this phagocyte will also perform. That means it kills germ. Okay. So this way they have the circulatory system. I hope you understand. This is all about the circulatory system. If you want to know about the type of heart, okay. So this heart is the neural heart. Okay, that means the heart pumping is actually controlled by the nervous system, not the muscle itself. If you see, in case of our heart is regulated, they are pumped by our muscle itself. Okay, so in case of them, that is going to be controlled by the nervous system. So that is about the heart functioning, how the systole and diastole occurs that much if you can remember, it is going to be very much easier for you to attempt the NEET questions also. So that's all about the circulatory system. Hope you have understood. Thank you.